Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Informal. After a while, I am back with a new podcast. It is the 27th edition of Mr. Informal Podcast. Man, it has been hot around my area lately. It's been hot and humid. Hopefully, where you are is much more cooler, much more relaxing. But where I am sweating a little bit right now in my computer area. And so, the 27th edition podcast, there will be three topics. First topic is Colette, where is closing down for business after being in business for about 20 years. Nike, this is the second topic. Nike creating a performance bra for women so they could do physical activities while being comfortable. Last and not least, the third topic is an online retailer named Stitch Fix actually creating or designing garments via algorithm instead of designers. So that is going to be interesting. And so let's start with the 27th edition of Mr. Informal Podcast. So, Sarah Endelman of Colette have announced after 20 years of being in business located in France, Colette has decided to close down for business December 2017 of this year will be the last day of them being in business. So that is going to be interesting, as Colette has always been. Well, here, let me tell you about something about Colette. Colette is a boutique, an exclusive boutique that sells high-end products, exclusive products, and collaboration. They are located in France, and they have been marketed heavily, whether it be social media, whether it be magazine, and a lot of people. And if you're into shopping, if you go to France, Colette is one of those places that you have to be at, because when you're in the store, it is beautifully designed, it is well spaced, it is creative, it is art, it is design, it is fashion, it is all in one area. So Colette is quite an interesting store, and a lot of people have raved about it, and I'm not surprised. But during these times, retailers are not doing good, even boutiques. So maybe it wasn't surprising that Colette is closing down, but the whole fashion industry is surprised and shocked, even me, that Colette is closing down for business. I actually think Colette has a certain mystique about it, whether it be customer service, whether it be the interiors, whether it be design, the exclusive, and the collaboration. There's something about their stores and products that it just makes you want to look at it, and you may want to purchase it. So, it started in 1997, closing down this year. It's going to be an interesting move. Well, actually, it might be a bad move, because the whole industry is basically shocked, and I'm not entirely sure what the owners are going to do now, because it looks like they may just take their time or maybe take a break. But Colette is one of those retailers that a lot of retailers actually aspire for, because again, of all the reasons that I just gave. And it does tell you something about the industry of retail, especially fashion retail, that if Colette cannot survive, even though they've been in this industry for 20 years, it may just take more than just social media marketing or something to survive in this business. Now, what do I think the reason why they closed down? I think it's probably because of the high price, most likely the exclusivity, and the fact that they were only located in France. It would have been nice to have a store here in California, but they decided to just stay in France. So that might be the reasons why they are closing down for business. Not only that, when you go to France, it is not cheap to buy items in France, especially if you go to Colette. So Colette is quite an interesting stage here. Now, will they bring back Colette again, maybe to a different location? Well, we just never know. It is something that a lot of retailers probably have looked at and say, hey, wait a minute, this business is closing down. Even though they've been in this business for 20 years, that means that I had to always be as ahead of the curve, whether it be my product, also be ahead of my customer service, whether it be the interior design, whether it be the physical interaction and communication with customers and consumers, and also the products that I am presenting, and especially the price, because money talks. And so that's just basically my talk of Colette closing down, because it is an interesting retailer that the whole fashion industry is shocked, even me, that they're closing down. So that's the business of retail is certainly tough. But on to the second topic, and this is what I'm really excited for, because these are the kind of things that I'm really into, research and development. And so Nike FE / NOM Flyknit, or I'm just gonna call it the Nike Phenom. So we have here the men's bra designer, or Nike senior bra innovative designer, Nicole Rendon, or Rendon, however you want to pronounce it. Her team, or we're just gonna call it Nike, designed and created a performance bra that is only made up of 2 pieces, and the fibers are made from Flyknit, which is the same material that is used on the Flyknit shoes that Nike has. Very lightweight. I even have a couple of them. Very light. So what does this bra really do? Well, this bra is obviously for the females. This bra is to ensure that when females are wearing this, one, it is breathable, so they don't sweat or sweat a lot. It is comfortable and supportive during the physical activities, whether it be sports, whether it be exercise, or it could be whether through yoga. Any physical activity. That is the major point of this bra. And the good thing about this is it doesn't have seams. Instead of seams, it uses bonding technology. What it means is bonding, meaning they glued. If you ever have Nike Flyknit, you'll certainly see the glue on there. Or I think could be a resin, some type of resin that they connect 2 pieces of Flyknit materials here, or Flyknit panels. That's the word. So this particular, the thing is, when they make a comparison, so the normal bra, just normal bra, has 41 pieces and 22 seams. That's a lot. Okay, so this particular bra that Nike produced doesn't even have a padding, doesn't even have a stabilizer, doesn't even have a bra. So Nike is touting that this particular bra is designed by Flyknit, and it is designed by threads and by using computers to weave these Flyknits, so they know where particular support or certain areas needs to be supportive or comfortable. And this particular bra is 30% lighter. So it is an interesting take that a Flyknit material that is used for shoes and is now being used for clothing or garments, especially in performance wear. And it's a good time to be in, because we finally get to see that there are more performance wear and clothing for women. And this particular creation is definitely a good move for Nike, definitely a good move for the whole industry, and certainly a good move for the sports industry, and definitely for women. Now you may not be as into sports, or you can just be working out in the gym. And by this being lighter, being slim, being thin, because there's no support bra, there's no wire, all it is just 2 layers of fly knit. It just tells you that it's much lighter, it's much comfortable. It's almost like you're wearing nothing. Not only that, it is designed by women, not men. It is designed by women, which is makes sense. For you to create something for women, you have to understand a woman or be a woman. So that is the point, which is I'm glad that it is designed by a woman here. And they created something that they've been wanting to create, which is support, lightness, and cushion, and especially breathability. Now, in terms of sales, this is pretty new, so I don't know what the sales figures ought to be. My prediction is, if it's not expensive, hopefully it's reasonably priced, then it will sell out, or it will be a good product to purchase. Now, if it becomes expensive, then you got a problem. These are not a lot of women would probably buy this at $50. Certainly, maybe it was $30-$40. Well, maybe. But then again, something like this is new, so it might be expensive. So on to the third and last topic. So there's an online retailer named Stitch Fix, quite new to the industry. So basically, they order clothing or accessories from apparel vendors via algorithm sales and customer input. So that's basically Stitch Fix right there. So this particular brand is actually quite doing good, because an article from quartz.com or qz.com, check that out, says Stitch Fix has already captured more than 3% of online apparel sales among millennials, edging ahead of retailers like ASOS. Now that's huge. It has reportedly broken $500 million in revenue. Now that's a milestone for a company who just started, right? So how are they doing this? Well, they're doing it by algorithm. So there's this particular new thing that they're doing. They're, instead of designing by humans or by head, they're using their computerized algorithm to design for them. So in the article, his name is Eric Colson, Chief Algorithm Officer, Eric Colson of Stitch Fix. So he says it works like this. A collection of 3 algorithms generate a starting point. The first algorithm picks 3 parents' recommended pieces of clothing that could be either combined or used as a template for a new piece. The second suggests 3 different attributes that have been shown to complement the parent's style, maybe a different neckline or sleeves. The third throws in a little bit of randomness, suggestions that isn't typical for the previously suggested style but might be interesting. Together, these algorithms search through a span of 50 trillion potential combination of, for example, blouse attributes to ultimately give just 9 suggestions. So the first rule, the first parent, so the first piece, whether it be a shirt, jacket, shirt. The second piece of the algorithm, different neckline, different body style, long sleeve, short sleeve. Now the third is just a little bit random, whether it be color, patterns, or design. So, and then he also says that, but while algorithms generate the initial ideas for hybrid design, they aren't responsible for the entire process. That's something that Stitch Fix is probably hiding. So what do I think of an online retailer who just started not a long ago, probably a couple years ago, reaching a milestone, $500 million in sales, and being responsible for 3% of online online apparel sales. That is amazing. So first and foremost, what do I think of the algorithm? Now, I don't even know how the algorithm works. Now, I do understand it, but I don't know how it's absolutely doing it. Maybe I have to see it in person. But if the algorithm is working for them, hey, that's a pretty good algorithm that they generated, they formulated, whether it be from designs, consumers' input, or their own input, or other designs' input. Second thing is that 3% of online sales. That's big. And the last thing I really want to talk about is designing via algorithm. That to me is, I'm not entirely sure what to think of it yet, but it is interesting. I wouldn't call it design, but I would think it's more of a stylist or styling, because if you go by design, a designer could just create something out of millions and millions of combinations, not obviously thinking about sales and customers. But when a computer does it, I think they are designing probably with sales in mind, with customer input in mind. I think that's how it's doing it. But to me, I would not call this algorithm designing. I think it's just picking and choosing at what type of style that they would want to order from other vendors, which is basically a stylist. Or if you're a good businessman, then yeah, you can call it that way. But I would not call it designing. But it is interesting that this is happening, and they are actually doing good by it. And it does change the industry. Not only that, you may not even need to hire a designer if you have their formula, but I'm sure they already work on their own algorithm. They probably have some secret algorithm formula that they're not presenting, or they don't want to share with the rest of the world. And again, you may not even need a designer if you own a company like this, because you can just have your own algorithm do it for you. But the bad part about it is that it would stay inconsistent depending on the season, what the market demands. So every week it will change, or every 2 weeks it will change, which is not something that a lot of true designers would do. Yes, there are fast fashion, but fast fashion, or at least they think about this 1 month. But this algorithm, they could probably change their whole design 1 week, 2 weeks. So it's something to think about, especially the future. And so everybody, that basically concludes this Mr. Informal 27th podcast edition. I hope you enjoy my explanation, my take, and hope you learn something. And so I will see you in the next Mr. Informal podcast. Bye-bye.